So today we are going to do a how we met video and maybe a little bit extra. We'll see.
Alright, well this is how we met. It started out as a long distance relationship. We met on a dating website and it happened to be a Christian website. I saw her profile and I thought, okay, well let me just, send her a little message. I reached out to Sharada on the dating website because I saw she was a very attractive lady. I was like, wow, this girl's really pretty.
Oh gosh.
Let me find out who she is and what she's all about. Sharada was getting ready to close her account on the day that we actually started chatting. I said, well, why don't you give me an opportunity to at least say a few words and we can talk, chat just a little and just give me a shot. So she did. She gave me a shot. Anyway, you can pick up where I left off.
That was Sam's version of the story. I'm going to tell you my version, which is pretty similar to his.
I keep it pretty simple though. Mine's pretty basic. If you're...
His is basic. Mine is basic too, actually. It's pretty similar.
It's way detailed.
Anyway, prior to meeting on the website, let me just give you a little bit of a backstory where I was at that time in my life. I was a widow with 5 children. One of the hardest things that I've ever had to do in my entire life was to bury a loved one. I was 5 months pregnant at the time that my late husband passed away, so needless to say, he never had the opportunity to meet our last child. And the second hardest thing I've ever had to do was explain to my 3-year-old that her dad was not ever coming home again. And it took some time for her to actually grasp that concept. And I understand it because as an adult, I also struggled with coming to terms with the fact that my late husband was not going to be returning. He was never going to come home again. At some point, my family began to get a little bit concerned and realized that I was having a difficult time with moving on and suggested that I maybe go on one of the social websites to possibly have some adult interactions, because at the time I was a school teacher and my only interactions were with my students in the classroom, my 5 children at home, and that was it. I didn't really have a whole lot of adult interactions. I kind of absorbed my life with just my students and my kids at home, and that was really it. It took about 2.5 years before I actually decided to move on. I wound up joining the Christian website. I was thinking in that particular forum that it was less likely that I would meet weirdos. I was sadly mistaken on that end. I actually encountered a lot of strange people on the Christian website.
The normal to weirdo ratio on the Christian websites is way higher on the weirdo side than it is on the regular websites.
He's probably right about that. I think they probably prey on.
They think, oh yeah, well this is easy pickings here.
Exactly. Yeah, probably. You're probably right about that. Because I was encountering all these weird people on the website, it was a major turnoff for me. So I decided to close out my account, and that was actually the day that I met Sam. He sent a message. I actually let him know that I'm actually only here to close out my account, and he did ask if I would just give him an opportunity to get to know me. Prior to Sam, I had never dated outside of my race. I've never considered dating outside of my race until I met Sam. And it's not that I've ever had any racist feelings. It's just the way that I grew up. It was just something that was pretty much went without saying, that you just date your own race. So it was never even a consideration. And it was quite surprising that I actually fell for Sam the way that I did, especially since I've never even considered dating someone outside of my race. But being with him, marrying him, was one thing that opened up my eyes to the fact that love is truly beyond what you see physically. You see the person's soul, you see that person, and you fall in love with who that person is inside and not the color of somebody's skin.
I've always been attracted to black women, and Sharada's no exception. So.
No exception.
No, I'm just saying
exceptionally black. Oh boy.
Okay. This might sound kind of corny, but there was a show called Julia, and Diane Carroll was the actress, and I was really attracted to her. I thought she was very,
How old were you?
very beautiful. I don't know. I guess maybe probably about 10.
10 years old.
I wasn't even a teenager yet.
Wow.
So
So your attraction for black women dates back how long?
since the 1960s.
Wow.
But it was a lot less acceptable. And even though now there are still a lot of people that don't accept, interracial couples. There's a lot more acceptance nowadays. It's not viewed as quite as much of an oddity as it used to be. To see a black person with a white person,
Right.
and it's just a lot more commonplace.
Our courtship was short-lived. We didn't do a lot of dating. Where did we go?
Fishbones, don't you remember?
Okay, yeah, we did. Okay, I do remember that, yes.
And we went out for Chinese.
Okay, but I wouldn't call that a date. I wouldn't call that a date. We went out for Chinese once, so in the beginning.
Okay, so those aren't adult dates; those are kiddie dates.
Well, no,
What you call it?
we went out to get Chinese food, but we didn't eat at the Chinese restaurant, so I wouldn't call that a date.
Oh, you remember?
Yes, I remember.
You were sick that
I
day.
was exactly. I was about to say that I was sick.
We actually sat in
we
the
sat in the
car.
car for a little bit because I wasn't feeling well, and my mom was watching the kids that night. So
So you just needed a little break there.
yeah. So pretty much, we did not do a whole lot of dating. Sam and I met in late November of 2008,
2008.
right?
Yeah.
And we talked every day, several times a day over the phone because he was living in a different state from me. So we talked quite frequently over the telephone. In fact, we prayed together over the telephone. We read the Bible together. So those were special moments for me. I would have to say that part really attracted me to Sam, especially since I was trying to get to know this person, and the fact that he had a heart for God was very attractive to me at that time. At that time he still has a heart for God, but I'm speaking in past tense because I'm talking about when we first met.
Right.
Okay? Of course I'm attracted to my sexy husband, and I feel, why are you shoving me? Yes, anyways. He thinks I'm crazy.
Crazy girl.
Anyways, another thing that attracted to me to him was that he's a very gentle and patient person. I was quite amazed. How on earth is this man
You told me
so
that before. I'm not.
patient? Like he doesn't let anything get to him.
I've had people make that comment before. You tend to react at a higher level than I do. I'm not one that's going to usually don't react in a highly excited manner. I'm not going to jump out of my skin unless I see a ghost.
But for the most part, I think we balance each other out. He's calm. I'm a little bit more on the excitable side at times, not all the time, but at times I can be.
So you're the peaks and I'm the valleys, or the other way around?
Something like that. December 2008 was actually the first time that I was meeting Sam in person.
Honestly, it was a leap of faith.
Mm-hmm.
You had to have a lot of faith in God, or just be totally crazy to make a move like that.
Okay, I think it was a mixture of both. I had to be a mixture of both, a little bit of crazy and faith. And I'm saying that because by the time Sam came to physically meet me for the first time in December, a month after meeting on the internet, he already had a ring. And he proposed and we were engaged at that point around the Christmas holiday. We met November 2008. We were engaged upon meeting each other physically for the first time in December of 2008. And in February, we were officially married.
It was a big decision for me to come to. She had already a large family, so it was a big undertaking and responsibility. I had to do some serious soul searching and praying because this is not something that you would want to go into without some serious thought and some serious prayer, and basically asking God for guidance. I wanted to do what was in His will, and God was leading us to be together. When I told my buddy on my job what I was doing, he was like, he says, you better watch out because there's a possibility you might get rolled. They might attack you in the airport. As soon as you get off the plane.
Who was supposed to attack you?
Your brothers. He was like, yeah, she's probably got a bunch of brothers.
So he thought somebody was gonna...
robbing you.
Okay. So pretty much he thought you were
even
being
get
set
past,
up.
You won't get past the airport.
Okay. But you came anyway.
But I came anyway. He wasn't the one on the phone talking to you, and he wasn't the one that got a feel for, who you were. I went based on the information that I had and everything that I knew about you over the phone. I decided that Sharada was the one for me. She's a very attractive girl. Sharada loves God. She cares about her house. She cares about her family greatly. She's a very responsible person. Fun-loving. She cares about making a nice, comfortable home for our family. And I could see that immediately, that she cared about her children a great deal because of how she took care of them and how she disciplined them, how she interacted with them. It really amazed me, actually, how well behaved her kids were and how responsible they were. She sets a really good example for the kids, so that definitely tipped the scales for me. She's an awesome person.
Thank you.
You know that. These are all the things I tell you. I've told you a billion times. I really honestly didn't expect to have any more kids. At the time we met, my daughter was 21 and my son was 18. I met Sharada, I was 48. So I kind of figured I was done in the kid department. 3 more kids, and fortunately it all worked out really well because I wouldn't have it any other way.
10 years later, fast forward, we are
Madly in love.
So, yeah. So 10 years later, we're still together. We're still going strong. We're still madly in love with each other. And I'm grateful to God that He allowed us that space and time to meet each other. So I had 5 kids from a previous marriage. Sam has 2 kids from a previous marriage. And together we had 3. So altogether between us, there are 10 kids. My 5 kids from my previous marriage. Imani, who's 22 now. Jamal is 21. Caitlin is 14. Jordan is 13 now. Purcell is 12. Sam's 2 from his previous marriage. They do not live with us. They are actually adults. In fact, I believe his oldest daughter has 5 kids of her own. My children from my previous marriage are Samantha, she would be 32, Sammy, 29. Wow, 29?
29.
Time flies.
32, right.
Mm-hmm. And together we have 3.
We have Sarah, who's 9, Joshua, who's 7, and Charlie, who's 6.
The relationship between Sam's older adult kids, and my family's a little strained, and that's a video for another day, so we're not going to get into that today. But I will say this, the reality of blending families together, everybody's not always happy, everybody doesn't always agree or see eye to eye on bringing the families together. So I guess they had a difficult time coming to terms with the changes that happened in Sam's life. I think they struggle with dealing with the fact that their father remarried and he had more children.
Right.
At the end of the day, you can't make everybody happy. Everybody's not going to always be happy with the situation, your situation, or joining the families together. So we would love to bring the families together and for everybody to be one big happy family.
Yeah, that would be ideal. It would be great, you know, if everybody could get together and we didn't have any weird stuff involved, and just put all of our differences aside and just be a happy family. But the likelihood that that's going to happen is, I think, pretty low at this point.
Well, I still have hope.
You have more than I do.
So hopefully this video gave you guys an opportunity to learn a little bit more about Sam and I and our family and how we came together, how we came to be.
We'd love to hear your comments on this video. As always, give this video a thumbs up, comment down below, don't forget to subscribe, and hit the bell, as Charlie would say.
Charlie's over there whispering to hit that bell for notifications when we post.
Right.